Start on page 9 of Cascade Blessing. So first give rise to bodhicitta, the supreme of all intentions, thinking for the sake of all sentient beings as vast in number as the sky is vast. You will receive these teachings and put them into practice. So with that as your purpose, your intention, listen to these teachings.
Voilà, ça trend de concept jawate. Ini ta coba coba begini. Ini ta nggak cita, nggak ta coba ini timung. Ini ta rumah Lojong. Ini ta saja gitu, saja lagi cinta dengan cinta ta ini macam ta nuju cangcut. Semce bad vardı dedi. Hepsi var. Ta rengi kası babade vardı çim cangcut semce bad ya. Ini da ini cangcut semce badam dedi. Labjala laba nigi nani ta rengi kası labjala laba çe. Ta tela yang ta nuju nigi dedi. Macam ini çok büyük labjala. Dedi vardı çim bad çok. Yamle ele cang. Ini ta jimbadan suchamla sopa ngono sonde trenji kasu papa de ini zobik ini lapchap kolis.
So the topic for our teachings today come from the cycle of spiritual training of Dzogchen, Longchen, Ningtek, and from within the preliminary practices, the Ngundro, of this cycle of teachings and practice. These teachings today come from the common preliminary practices pertaining to the phases of Lojong, or mind training. So the mind training, or Lojong system of practice within this tradition of Longchen Ningtek practiced what we call the 100-day retreat of Lojong. So from within there, we've arrived at the training our minds in the main practice of Mahayana, namely the trainings and engendering of bodhicitta, the precious mind and enlightenment. So we've begun our practices and teachings on bodhicitta. So from the two phases of training in bodhicitta, where initially we train in engendering, giving rise to bodhicitta. Then once having engendered bodhicitta, there are the particular precepts or trainings of bodhicitta. So within the particular trainings of bodhicitta, we have the phases of aspiration and application trainings. So from among those two sections, we've gone through the trainings of aspiration bodhicitta and are within the trainings of application bodhicitta, which are the practices of the 6 paramitas. So we've discussed the first 2 of the 6 paramitas, the trainings in generosity and discipline, and today our main topic will be the paramita of patience.
Mana ta tanggung aram se ini ta ya ini yor tamba ini ta jabur ini asanji ta jabur ini tena kita ta chusum ta sam ta ya ini soal ta ini ta karisa ta gijula ini ta inchen changchup jisam Rinpoche ini ta majiba jiba tam jiba munyamba kongde shal kongde ka ini nolam de jeje ta tamu sondati ini nyam so la.
So first we pray to sublime objects, literally, sublime sources of our prayer, our supplication, namely the sources of refuge, the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, the 3 jewels and the host of deities of the 3 roots. We supplicate, we call out to them. Namely, we're praying to them to bless us that precious bodhicitta arises in our mind stream. We pray that it arises in our mind stream, that where there is no bodhicitta, may it arise. Where bodhicitta has arisen, may it not diminish, but increase ever more. So then this is our aspiration as well. So here we can now together pray, reciting the supplication prayer and aspiration prayer together thinking in this way. First, we'll pray in Tibetan. Khenpo Ngagchung, then it will be over. So we'll do those in English now. I pray to the glorious sacred Lama, the essence of all Buddhas of the three times, and the embodiment of the four Kayas. Grant me the blessings of empowerment. Grant me that the extraordinary realization of the Dharma path arises in my mind. Kind Guru, grant your blessings that your enlightened qualities of bodhicitta arise in my mind.
Shira Jembe Yande Mundo Yinje Jembe Korwa Tondo Habla Kebe Kurande Yeme Tume Lame Shabla Chasa.
Through your great wisdom, you have realized nirvana. Through your great compassion, you willingly embrace samsara. Through your skill and methods, you have realized that they are no different. Fearless teacher, at your feet I bow.
Semjo Jebara Lomyan Jeba Me Chenlo Lamla Lopya Rande Lojong Semjena Chanjo Semcho Jongwara.
I claim to be arousing bodhicitta, but still it has not arisen in me. I have trained in the path of the six perfections, but have remained selfish. Bless me and small-minded beings like me, that we may train in sublime bodhicitta. Now, rest and training the mind, supplicating, praying in our heart, praying and making aspirations in our own heart.
그래서 다양한 곳에서 당장 제일
Oh, yeah. Don't mind the time. Time to get going.
그래서 다 당고 되는 땅을 저거니 양제 쉬우니나 얘네가 장첩지 생년디 뭐데 이제
So again, to refresh our memory of bodhicitta, really the essence of bodhicitta is altruism.
이게 이렇게 가르쳤으나 얘네 나오가다냐 얘네 마주치 생기에 단계를
The object of focus for bodhicitta is the sky-like expanse of mother sentient beings.
그래서 내가 서울다 상주지 센터 서울 이 정도와 모두 인지 연도는 봐서 되지.
So with bodhicitta, there are two aspects of it that must be complete. So the first of these two is the aspect of compassion, which is the focusing on the welfare of others.
소리니바데 시럽 조장을 봐서.
The second aspect, necessary aspect of bodhicitta, is the focus on complete enlightenment through transcendent wisdom, the aspect of transcendent wisdom.
다데 가르쳐면서 간다스다 코르바키 얘네 다 코르바자 마세 코르바 다 스바단 시위키 다 징마란 거 얘네 니스다 간다더니 다지 아주 쓰긴 있어 봐. 이제 손담 다스 코로아생이 되나? 처음에 강원도 지혜장 근데 강원도가 동안 매봐. 이제 손담 다 나도 땐도 대화 찍더니 다 생계한테 땐도 대화 아니 과마지 또 보면은 다 이거도 아니 저기 사진을 보면 또 보고 이제 다 대체도 저기 사진을 보고 자 여기 다들 실업 조장을 거지.
So what does this mean like for us in practice? How do we engage with this? So samsara, really focusing on, our bodhicitta focuses on all existence and peace, both samsara and nirvana, and all beings which abide, remain within samsara. So through recognizing that wherever beings may be within samsara, in the higher realms or the lower abodes of samsara, that every single being is plagued by suffering. And that for them to be freed of suffering, then they are to attain the level of stable bliss or stable well-being, which is the stage of complete enlightenment. So the compassion is understanding that all sentient beings suffer and having the wish to free them from this suffering and establish every single being in the level of stable, everlasting happiness or well-being. So then, in order to accomplish that, then oneself has to attain complete enlightenment. That's the only means to gain a complete and perfect Buddhahood. So we say, for that, meaning for that purpose of all sentient beings, I vow to attain complete enlightenment. I will attain complete enlightenment. So that second aspect of, for that purpose, I will attain enlightenment, is the second aspect of focusing on complete and perfect enlightenment with training in transcendent wisdom.
알았다. 네네, 다 쓰봐. 콜와데 다 찍어라. 저기다 다 찍어. 다 빼나 시와. 냥을 내봐. 빼나 냐랑 다 좀 공부하다 보지 톱성 많이네요. 네, 다 네, 네, 다다 나랑 저 아니 랑기 아니 아직 내가 붙이 가려서 애니 희와다 대박 아직 가서 애니 어하든 야수니까 랑기 파마를 좀 있으면 정내 받아서 던지 다 동양 거빈이스 동안 늦어봐 냥이 여바테 탐지 삼노 땅나 되니 대양 되니 말한 쪽을 즉 아니 다 로종 빼내 따라서 로자 빼 하게 되거든요. 충청 되니 아니 근데 그것도 보지 연상 대답을 다 말한 쪽 따라서 애니 시빅 타 당연한 또 달라야 이봐 놀랐다 승계 탐지 지는 와서 가서 얘는 좀 그렇지 봐. 예, 따뜻한 침묵. 얘는 좀다 예. 정치성. 그러니까 남선이라 얘는 다좀 뭐라고 그러지 말레스.
Transcending, working to transcend samsara, cyclic existence. But not only that, also the stages of peace, of peaceful nirvana, stages of arhats, of the listeners and solitary realizers, the paths of the listeners and solitary realizers. So in those states of liberation that such individuals attain, then yes, for their own personal, temporary state, they gain a peace, happiness, well-being. They themselves are liberated and remain in that state. But finding yourself in that state, then how can you abandon the entirety of all your parent-like beings, which are still stuck in the mire of samsara, enduring unbearable suffering and torment? So really such beings that seek and find their own individual liberation, abandoning the rest of sentient beings, have an incredibly small amount of courage, bravery, are very narrow-minded, small-minded, and narrow in their focus and aim. So for individuals in the Mahayana, we train to not fall to either extreme of existence or peace, but instead to constantly strive for the welfare of all sentient beings. So that type of mindset is what we call bodhicitta, the very foundation of the Mahayana. So we call training in that way, with that as your intention, the path of bodhicitta.
다 가서 뵙지서 애니 다 나랑한테 너무 탕탕스럽지 이마 차이야
탕탕 루po 야보야
또 지금 야보야지 근데 나서 강화도 맥스가 하고는 다 나랑 앞선 이혼 총재 아니 나랑 다지 그렇답잖아 이나야 이 강화는 나나 얘네 가서 따라서 아빠 아마 갱고 보고 만져 충청 얘네 지에면 따뜻해도 그 강가 야 지나 안 찍고 들어서나 때문에 다 지금 그렇답잖아 얘를 때문에 뺏기서래 지게라고 저는 밑에라 아니 코페 정보래 할래바 코페 얘네 옵션보다 코치 그렇다고 그것도 얘다 정말 특수해서 지게는 미디어라고 말했어 미디 다만라고 이거 하면 좀 지금 가르데 되는 제나 앞에 뒤에서 뛰어오는데 한국 뺏기서 다 보고다 파마 변거에서 파기용이 근데 갈때 거나 특수가 있나요 밑에 빠고서라고 그랬어 뭐 얘들 빼 그거 호칭 빠고 된다지 대나기 와서 픽받침 보게 어디 대처보지래서 왜냐다 나랑 좀 변덕해서 애들 심지엔 다 변덕해서 나랑 좀 심지엔서 좀 나랑 좀 변덕다 아빠 아마 되고 보고 만질 애는 다 나랑 좀 변덕해서 애는 근데 지금 좀 좋아서 봤다 소리 그래서 담게 파이고 나랑 찍었잖아 그때 애는 다 변덕해서 랑제라고 근데 다 애는 랑제 변덕다 랑제를 다죠 공부라고 지 다 도스지 차고요 그래서 다 특받지 못했는데 그래서나 특받지 못했다 지금 나랑 좀 지하철 얘네 그래서 그래서 인상 내가 빠고서 다 장급 선봤어 얘네 내가 빠고게 채대야 더고요 그래서
Tulku Rinpoche had a perfect, like beautiful analogy for the path of Mahayana compared to the lower vehicles path, the path of bodhicitta. So he compared it to a burning house. So you imagine you yourself are in your home, and the house is on fire. So you find yourself a window and you dive through the window, immediately saving yourself. But you weren't alone in the house. Your elderly parents were in the house. Your naked, helpless child or children were there. Your spouse was in the house. And you were the one, like, most able-bodied individual there. You had all your faculties and strength about you. And you've chosen to immediately save yourself and abandon them. So even in a worldly context, forget the Dharma for a moment, even in a worldly context, nobody would call such an individual a hero. How great they are. What bravery for them to so quickly save themselves. Not at all. The opposite's true. We call that person a coward, a horrible coward who has absolutely no sense of duty, courage, or bravery at all whatsoever. So the opposite of that, the individual who first, totally forgetting about their own purpose, gets the children out of the house, helps their elderly parents out of the house, makes sure their spouse is safe, going back into the home, the burning, blazing house again and again, instead of as quickly as possible abandoning it, saving themselves, even maybe burning themselves, maybe dying themselves. An individual that does that, then everyone would recognize them, call them a hero, would recognize their great strength of character and heart and bravery and courage. So it's that type of individual that the Mahayana is suitable for. That's what the Mahayana is like, where all sentient beings are elderly parents, or helpless naked children, our family members, our spouse. Where if we were to abandon them, neglect them, then we'd be just like the solitary realizers who gain liberation solely for themselves. neglecting the plight of all others. So when we talk about the Mahayana, Mahayana has the vast mindset. The mind is wide open, vast, and spacious, connecting to all beings. So because of that, we also call Mahayana the path of the heroes, the heroic ones. So with bodhicitta, initially, you train in engendering the aspiration, the intention of bodhicitta, which is the intention to be of service to sentient beings, namely giving rise to the intention of may I attain complete enlightenment for the sake of others, for the sake of sentient beings. So that's the intention that is aspirational bodhicitta. And once that has arisen stably, arisen well in one's mind, then really automatically the conduct of bodhicitta, the conduct of the bodhisattvas will follow from that. Once one has a kind heart or an excellent mindset, then automatically one's behavior and actions reflect that. So the conduct that reflects one's aspiration bodhicitta is application bodhicitta. And application here really is referring to the conduct of bodhicitta, which primarily comes down to what we call the 6 paramitas. So we'll continue focusing on the 6 paramitas, and today we have arrived at the paramita of patience. So the path of the Mahayana, if you're to break it down into a single sentence, we could. This sentence was said by the Buddha Shakyamuni that really contains the entirety of the Mahayana. So the Buddha Shakyamuni said to completely tame one's mind. This is the teaching of the Buddha. So there's a saying, a story from long ago in Tibet. So there was a Chinese king who sent a letter to this Lama Changcha, asking him, or saying in this letter, so in Tibet there are all sorts of dharmas, all sorts of teachings. Give me the condensation of all of them down into one word or one phrase. So Lama Changcha wrote him back and said the single word that the condensation, the entirety of all these multitude of teachings, Tibetan Dharma is the word sem, meaning mind.
다 도서도 다 강들 얘네 다 소고 가르쳐고 아니 탐지에다 샘을 알리고 다 강들 얘네 샘 도와 봐 텔레선다 때는 저밖에 다 뭐잖아 다 가르래 샘 못 받아도 또 저기 뭐 가르쳐서 샘
Meaning that everything, all the teachings, all the Dharma, depends upon one's mind. Really, everything is contingent upon one's mind. So we're to tame, train, really master the mind. So regarding patience, really the essence of patience, the essential meaning of patience, the essence of patience, is one's mind not becoming agitated.
다 저바당 가르다라고 가르래서는 아니 공조를 와 공조생이 다 배는 해당생 공조 다 가르래서는 코생 주관이다 주관이 또다생 주관 초수관.
So the opposite of patience really is anger, anger or hostility, which hostility really is an agitated mind. So this agitated mind is the direct opposite of what we're after, which we're calling here patience, which is a mind free of agitation.
얘네 다 얘나기 얘네 다 배나 얘네 삼대세도 가래 생물랑 인기들이 생물랑 인기네 봐.
And samten, meditative concentration, really is the mind naturally abiding. So a definition of samten, samadhi, or meditative concentration. The mind naturally abiding.
얘네 수점세도 샘 마실 바래. 찰와. 찰스는 찰 가서.
두포마차야.
찰스는
이제다 호흡파이드 짠
너무 찰. 찰와서 좀 나쁘게 찰초는.
그래지.
샘 야,
축바당.
축바당 찰와입니다. 그러니까 꼭
Imbalanced.
channel is lost.
Lost. Imbalanced.
아직 노성교로.
Yeah.
찰스는 노성교.
Error.
마찰 봤으나 다
양답.
양답.
So Tsultrim discipline or ethics, Karamita ethics, essence of that is one's mind not being faulty, not being lost, trying to find the best word for this Tibetan term. Something like faulty, lost, imbalanced, not proper.
다 실업세나 다 샘지 네 랑인 니도 앞에 주세는 니도 거라더니 사보 해봤다가 다 실업세고.
Shira, transcendent wisdom, is clearly knowing the nature of one's mind, or clearly knowing the true nature of reality, the ultimate nature of one's mind.
다 그때는 저거다가 저 애니 다 저마시고 와 강한데다 다 샘기 톤에 에너지가 좀 후야디 샘기 톤이다 추고 샘기 톤이 추기니 남바디 르다가 톤이 남규 쳇하는 거다.
So today our primary focus is on patience. So agitation, an agitated state comes from the mind. You can only be agitated from your mind. So once the mind creates agitation, or once the mind is agitated, then from that agitated mental state, there are physical and verbal manifestations that come out from that agitation, or really which is hostility or anger. So based on the agitated state of mind, then you act out physically and verbally. Those are the machinations and manifestations of the agitated mind.
다 장첩지선 답변은 저서 애니 기타한 게다 너무 뭐야 다디 나니 장첩지선다 그렇게 근데 답하지 독슈도 가지고 해당을 파담바선지게 송도 더 차비 이 자비죠 해당들이 끼직마지 디바체비요.
So the antithesis to bodhicitta. In general, we have lots of different afflictive emotions, all sorts of afflictions that arise, but the worst of those is this antithesis to bodhicitta, anger. As Padampa Sangye famously said, 100 acts of based on desire, a single act of anger is worse, more negative.
today 시바라게요 이송요 아니 콩조단 대바메 저바단 아토메 대cept네 저라 내내도 가서 저기 뭐말이지.
Shantideva also spoke the qualities of patience, saying there is no negativity worse than anger. There is no austere practice greater than patience. Therefore, strive always to abandon anger and cultivate patience.
네, 그래서 아니 말하는 저 김바다. 수천나 속과 따위 써는 호사 같아서 담지. 그냥 무소지기 깨지를 무슨 와서 배. 나서 잡라서 라서 잡아라니. 초 광고서 뭐. 된다고 지지네. 아니 시당된 정도고요.
So we've been training a great deal in generosity and ethics, guarding our ethics, our conduct, doing all sorts of good virtuous things, amassing all kinds of merit. And then we have a single moment of anger. So just like you've spent years on end amassing things, getting stuff together, buying all sorts of nice things, and then one single thief shows up and takes it all away. In that moment, all that hard work's gone. It's all lost. So anger is exactly like that. It vanquishes all of our merit in an instant.
양나다 와서 기비자 왔었든지 왜냐다 나는 저 아니 야 네 이렇게 하고 지요나 근데 베스트스로 나는 저 아니 깨지기 색으로 왜냐다 나는 저 우리는 그래야 매지 잡기는 좀 참아 쓰도록 된다고 했더니 기비자와 탐지 습을 제발라 딱 독슈다 베스트스로 풍토에 숨어서 뼈조금 들어 숨어서 진짜 대신 켜발라 속에 있더니 연대도 쓰던 풍토 찍은 존로 그래.
진에서. Whatever roots of virtue we have amassed, and a single spark of anger burns them all away. Just like you can have a huge mountain that from a single spark, fire can blaze and burn down the entire mountain. So our mountain of roots of virtue can all be burned away by the single worst enemy of anger, which is as taught in the Bodhicharya. It says something like, all the qualities of generosity and guarding one's ethics are destroyed in a single moment of anger. That being said, if our virtue is embraced with the three excellences, then that virtue cannot be burnt away. However, if it is not, then whatever virtue we have will be gone. The three excellences, embracing our mind with the motivation of bodhicitta, and engaging in dedication and aspiration of the virtue, sealing the action, sealing the virtue with dedication, and sealing it with emptiness. Then those types of actions cannot be lost, taken away, burnt away by anything. However, all actions that are not embraced with the three excellences, sealed with three excellences, can definitely be lost. So this thing we call bodhicitta is sacred and has all sorts of qualities, great qualities. And bodhicitta is rooted in mindsets of love and compassion. It's through cultivating and having love and compassion that you accomplish bodhicitta. And having bodhicitta and acting from that then is what we call the activities of helping others, or altruistic endeavor. So really the exact opposite of that love and compassion and the bodhicitta that arises from that is anger. So anger really brings with it a dislike of others, a sense of malice towards others, an intention to harm others. It's the exact opposite of love, compassion, bodhicitta. So If you have compassion in your mind, then you cannot have anger. And likewise, as soon as anger is in your mind, there cannot be compassion. It's like fire and water fitting in the same vessel. It just doesn't happen. As soon as one is there, the other is eliminated.
This is something that I want to be any control that department so he was so. I didn't say that. Not so good. I get any good at the nature. You know what they are. You know, that pen and around to nearly juice the capsule, so carishing. When Shadang here. Never gave it Judith, they and I younger day. When I sent the sort of Java in there. Well, no, they wrote out with you. You know, they didn't want to get out of any that nearly get your child.
Which is in part why Shantideva says that there is no negativity that compares to anger. Anger really is the fundamental cause that leads to rebirth in hell. Anger is the primary facilitator to travel to hell. So there are other actions, another karma that will lead you to arriving in hell, killing beings and so forth. But really the main thing that leads to hell is the motivation, the intention of based in anger and acting based on that. That's really what the cause of hell is.
This sounds and I am not answering the better and that she don't can deal with it. Any type Yamatawi, Zabade, and Hariosa. That's how you keep that's what I chop. Any Shakato the song. Do love Casata, love Jingi, any Nava Cheche. Tell it any, then it's not a bomb. It's not a love Jing.
Devadas.
Devadatta.
Love Jing, tell it any, Shakato Sangi way so much. Harasana, love Jingi, and Nava Cheche. And then there are any song with up at Kessler and Jama Bonki, Sava Bonki, Jama Bonki. Then the Kong practice, love Jing, turned and Sangi way so much.
So anger leads to hell. What is it that patience leads to? Patience leads to the level of Buddhahood, complete enlightenment. Buddha Shakyamuni himself said, because of Devadatta, his evil, malicious cousin, because of Devadatta, I attained Buddhahood, complete enlightenment. So Devadatta spent his lifetime doing nothing but trying to harm the Buddha, harming him at every chance, harming him and harming him. And the Buddha, based on those actions, based on the actions of Devadatta, was able to cultivate love and patience. Based on that, was able to become fully enlightened.
That is a Khenpo Ngagchung Rinpoche. Shadang Jiangxia, Zubi Yantanxia. Huh? What's it that was Zavachava? Zubi Yantanxia. Shadang Jiangxia. Shadang Jiangxia. When I was it somebody said Bada, Subuchi, around them, Devil. What's it that? Any never so that. When I Shadang, what's it? Chodan Nobu, Sell Nobu, Zubol Nobu. Huh? Any then I give it in a car. When the tongue around over any that, Namul Nobu, Chimsil Nobu, Ronald Nobu, Yan Nobu, that's how I put Novamato kind of off.
So the main thing one of the main things I want to share on today is discussing the faults, the endless faults of anger and the qualities of patience. So in order to really cultivate patience, initially you have to understand why. What are the qualities? What are the benefits of cultivating, having patience? And also, what are the faults that come with anger? So these are important to understand. So with anger, we have all sorts of faults, not just the ones we've mentioned so far, but also in modern science, we're finding, scientists and doctors are finding all sorts of harm that comes about to oneself when you're angry, when you have anger. It harms your health, your general health. It harms your life, how long you live, your life force. It harms your body. It has a physical effect on you. And it also harms your family. It has a negative impact on your family, your neighbors. And really, anger has nothing but faults that come about from it, both for oneself and others.
那当然就公众这样的现在的电脑变得更没开心，公众的你让的白色的界面色、红色，他们公众人让的没得讲，还是的。
We hear about instances of the power of anger, ultimate fault of anger. People that in fits of rage, in anger, kill their spouse, murder their spouse, even murder their children, and then turn the gun on themselves, killing themselves too, all through the power and influence of anger.
Anger, answer to me, then that's the matter of chaos. Anger, answer to me, anger, answer to me, then that's the
Through anger, people are able to murder themselves, commit suicide, murder themselves. So, of course, through the power of anger, they can kill others.
원하스 디게 담는가 독자 통행이 컨트롤되나스 원하 컨트롤돼 가르쳐야 아니 야고지 삼았다나 가야요 말 남도 깨지 마치
So this anger has the power to bring about such terrible things. But what really is this anger, if we really think about it? What we're calling anger, this horrible, terribly powerful thing, really is nothing but a single present moment of a thought arising, just a momentary thought.
Hola,
Really, he has nothing to him. No form, no shape.
그렇게 남쪽에 나서 깨지 맞지 않을까? 거기에서 되게 손을 안 끼고 가서 다 대다 원하는 쪽파 대는 준들 맞지. 아니 그런 것도 뜻을 얘네 다 지금 그런 당면 것 뜻을 얘네 홍조대 다 뜻을 말하는 줄 얘네 원도 마찬가지 호텔에서 전반지 있어. 맞다 이제 총으로 보자. 이 사람은 양코 차차를 요 말해. 그 수반 지금 좀 강구 풀기 받았지. 강구 강장. 그 디게 싸면 끼지지다. 강구에 요 말해.
So the trick is to not keep the continuity of those anger thoughts going. To not maintain that conceptual state of anger. which also means to not fall sway to the power of anger. So we do that through mindfulness, Renpa, or recollection, through recognizing, oh, that's anger. Then really, that's pretty much all it takes. You recognize anger. I've become angry. And you have this moment of clear mindfulness. Then it's gone in that instant. It's no longer there. Just like popping a balloon. So anger is really nothing more than a balloon that you pop, and once it's popped, it's dissolved, it's gone. There you make yourself laugh. You laugh at yourself.
이게 뭐랑 아주 전에 대체고 아주 셈아 네 맞아 지금 왜나 나 트레이너는 이까지는 보기 해봐야나 아 트레이너 손으로 되게 먹는 마당 아 쌈만 좋지 근데 해봐지 그거는 해봐야나 선생님 앞서 이거지 게임으로 봐 지원들 어 트레이너 찍고 남자지 제일 와서 안 먹지 이게 샘때 저는 이제 그냥 하고 예잖아 아니요 말고
So how can we do this? How can we like prepare ourselves to have this kind of mindfulness, to dissolve our anger? And so anger, again, is a thought. Throughout the day, you know, at all times, we have thoughts coming up, sexual fixations, all the time. So we prepare for that, for the potentiality of anger arising. So we can prepare by setting a clear intention, an intention that will sustain us through the day. So, so you wake up in the morning, you're getting ready, you're going to work for the day, then you tell yourself, you make the commitment in your mind, set the strong intention, I'm not going to get angry today. I vow to not get angry today. Then by setting that intention, then it stays in your mind, will facilitate you remembering that vow. And if you're able to remember that commitment that you made, then when inevitably during the day or at work you have a moment of anger, then having set that intention will trigger the recollection. Oh, that's anger. I'm not getting angry today. And simply in that moment of recollection, then it can dissolve. And it'll be recognized for the nothing that it is.
제가 다 와서 그 같이 공부해서 들어가다 그래놓고 다 말하면서 코 가서 힘드는 내비 값대라 다 가서 그 힘으로 다코 드시고 되라 다 드셔서 코 인제 저코 가서 힘드는 가서 네버 드시 값어 가서 공부 예의강 코에 정말 예의강 lại 예의강 đối với những đen ngoại lòng kiểu gì vậy nhá mà tôi xem bài chỉ có chỉ sao mà nhìn này không mà
So anger, for us anger. When we have anger in our hearts, then as long as we have anger in our hearts, we have the demon within us. So when we talk about Mara, the demon Mara, it's probably nothing other than this. This is the main meaning of Mara, is anger in our hearts. Because it really steals any potential state of well-being or happiness from us. Our home could be the infinite celestial palaces of the divine beings. We could be surrounded by the deities in their pure realms. And as long as you have the demon of anger in your heart, there's no potential for you to find any happiness. You could have all the, whatever of the 5 sense pleasures you long for. They could be all arrayed around you. And with anger in your heart, it would mean nothing. However nice your mattress may be, you could not get good sleep.
아니, 다 콜리요 내가 가려올까? 가야 믿었어. 거기, 아니 다 가서 혼행을 또 채모지 내나? 아니, 나 저거 가르쳐 봐. 몇세 그래? 랑세 그래? 졸라 그래? 감추용 그래? 써는 거 그래? 감추서는 저
punishment. No. Dispute legal dispute.
There are absolutely no qualities to this, to anger. And when anger is powerful, you have good, strong, capable anger, then it will lead to nothing good. Lead to you killing others, maybe you killing yourself, all types of conflict, lawsuits, prison, death. Nothing at all good comes about from anger.
원래서 다 텐디선상 다 가는 쪽 배는 아니 콩축이 껴통나 아니 저비연데 하고레스.
So really, by seeing the faults of anger, you will know the qualities of patience.
원래서 텐디선상 다 나서 강도 전에 저바생이 되나요? 다 지금 와서 아니 강한데 답변이 기절에 아니 가드 공원에서 다 말한 쪽 배는 아니 이 뭐대 봐도 세니에 비슷해 있어서 다 처음 경험했어. 이 뭐대 봐도 세니에 비슷해.
Same.
야, 이 뭐대 봐도 되니.
Agitated mind is finding like food for the agitated mind. This one.
That's wind tutor sounds.
가드 공부였어요. 공연 주제. 아, 이 무대 봐도 되니. 다 깨는 쳐 봐도 세니 봐도 이 무대 봐도 다 깨는 쳐 가서서.
So with patience, when is the time to apply patience? So Khenpo Ngagchung says, time to apply patience is when the mind is not at ease, like finding food for the mind that is not at ease. That's how, or when to apply patience. It's like this.
네, Patrul Rinpoche 내지죠. Patrul Rinpoche 내지가 가사판을 유진 신나서 답되거나 조치하는 거 같은데 내가 그때는 공장을 한 거였어요. 근데 이제 Patrul 패주도 값을 때는 이제 거는 공장 되어서 Lojong 그냥 이제 되어서 근데 Patrul Rinpoche 왜 사실이어서 공장이 돼서 가래 공장이었어. 나 거기 저번에 그 Lojong 저번 거기 처음 봤어라. 저번 공장이었어 남자. 내 바로 이제 다 내가 다 필요해. 근데 그 안경 과한다고 진짜 그 상황들이 소보돼서 이게 뒤다고 지내들이 미드서 지금 거걸 거래 아스 소보스는 다 소하고도
준신은
그냥 준성동성 준시에는 요즘 중에서 뒤다고 지내는 근데 심지어는 거걸 당도 아스 Any call, something, wait, this golden. This golden. Miss Kachi Chester. And what was eh, Zoba.
Patrul Rinpoche, as he spent his life doing, he was wandering around through the forests, solitary mendicant, and was around the region of Dzogchen Monastery, where up in the mountains and forests around Dzogchen Monastery there were many meditators in retreat practicing. So he came across one of them, and this practitioner was likely training in Lojong, practices of Lojong. And Patrul sees him, says, "Hey, you meditating? What are you doing?" "Yes, I'm meditating." "What are you meditating on?" "I'm meditating on patience." And so he was probably training in phase of Lojong, had arrived at patience. So Patrul says, "Okay, yeah, all right," and leaves him there. And just still barely in earshot of that meditator says something like, "These pretender practitioners these days, all they're doing is acting like that guy, tricking all sorts of sentient beings." Just loud enough that he can hear him. So he hears him, and then he says, "Hey, you, wait there 1 second. What were you saying?" And Patrul turns back to him and says, "Patience."
Well, those that. Yeah, the market was somewhat curious. And then, Garasa, and the trail of the process was over and told us. And then to go to the soil. And then, Kurutobo, Karajaba, Makibo, on Chuba is over the words. Jane about this trail on it, Tamara, charge of us. Jane told the chase, Tamara.
As long as there are no conditions coming up, no difficult or negative circumstances coming up, then it's easy to be happy, in a state of well-being. But it's really as soon as we meet with difficult conditions, negative circumstances, that the signs of our practice really come forth, are shown. Urgyen Chemchok spoke to this saying, when we have good clothes, good food, and the sun is shining on us, then we look like Dharma practitioners. But when a negative circumstance comes up, then you're very ordinary indeed. Yes, so we'd say something like, met with negative circumstances, you become quite ordinary.
That day, that got to take the down that observing that chick Kama, can I say? Would observer. That then would observer, say what? Would observer. Look, would observe that, higher, but in so never taking about that, then over there, would observe us, and would observe us.
So one type of patience is the patience to put up with harm, or literally the patience to put up with when one returns kindness with harm. You do good to one and they do ill in return. And another type of patience is the patience of bearing with circumstances for the sake of one's spiritual practice.
I am Kashichi, I say. Young is Jego. Young days to Mardena, then a young lamsa. And their matter of chip. Young, not one judging young who can say for you. Then young, you to provide. That is sort of that got Jesus.
Bearing with difficulties for the sake of one's spiritual training. So some individuals, they set out, they're practicing, doing some kind of meditation. some little thing happens and, oh, that's it, I can't stay in this retreat, I can't keep practicing, that happening, whatever it may be, or they fall sway to their own conceptual proliferation, neuroses, whatever's coming up, and they stop their practice. So those are signs or indications of lacking the patience of putting up with difficulties for the sake of one's practice.
네, 네 가신 뜻이 도움이 네, 알았어요. 네 말들은 참 대행이 스타릭 성어 쉬워서 되는 네 말들은 다 지금 조금 갈아서고 미가다 그때 요금을 들어오고 싶어. 근데 쇼가한테 모나를 탄사래.
I've seen some people, they commit, they say, okay, I'm going to stay in a 1-week retreat, 7 days, I'm going to stay in retreat. They go through all sorts of preparations to set up for that week-long retreat. Get their food all set, and okay, I'm not going outside for this 1 week. And then they start in the morning, and by evening they're out.
잘했어요. 꾸르꾸르 누구인지. 꾸르꾸르. 그냥 포트게 쉬면서 내 보다는 통해서 가져서 또 인생을 두게 알아서 사셔야 돼. 적 힘을 영어서 봐. 야가 그러면 적 힘을. 혹게 쉬우지 여서 봐. 근데 보다는 그것도 영어 말고 근데 뭐 차이냐. 근데 내가 말때 보다는 노래다가 그좀 더. 저 듣고 니마들 내야 봐. 내 말도 없었더니 딱 받쳐서 몇 개냐 정으로 근데 내가 말라서 그래서 나한테 계산 넣었어.
Lama Tsongmo had a friend of Lama Tsongmo's was going to stay in a week-long retreat, training in the practice of kurukule. And sure enough, by evening he was done. He'd had enough. Came out, he said, "Oh, this place is terrible. You can't stay here in retreat." There was big truck had gone by carrying a big load. It was really loud. Or something. "Oh, you can't stay here in retreat." And he came out and he, had said, "All right, I'm staying in there. I'm not talking to anybody, seeing anybody, not coming out for this week." And then he's out talking to people. So then he was really embarrassed about the whole thing. So he immediately left everyone to the place itself. Went somewhere else.
So wanted to go. Wanted to tell you about it.
So, yeah, he was embarrassed. Kurukule, training kurukule, you're accomplishing a magnetizing activity. Magnetizing. So he couldn't accomplish kurukule, he also couldn't magnetize to do his own mind. He was heavily.
되니? 다야. 남도 지역거든. 근데 그 타원이 차례.
He was magnetized to, or carried away by the power of the king of thoughts, conceptual proliferation.
다양 삶을 돈을 잡아서 봤어. 다 삶을 돈을 잡아서 봤어도 다 빼는 거랑 내 중재. 아니 다 저기 빼는 아니 대나기 빼는 짓을 다 제와 같이 아니 최담제랑 연결미로 빼는 동반이라서 다 그래서 담제 양지가 저 아니 뭐는 마셔 가지고 또 다 대선으로 되는 다야 삶을 돈 아니 다 작성하러 다 되도 삶을 돈을 잡아서 then
we have the patience of not fearing profound meaning. Profound meaning here meaning the truth of karma, cause and effect, reincarnation, past and future rebirth, and the profound meaning of the ultimate nature of phenomena. That all things are not truly existent how they appear. The nature of emptiness of everything. So these types of ideas, these profound meanings, may not fit well in our mind, with our own intellects and dualistic minds. So when they don't fit, then that is what we call having fear of the profound meaning. So this type of patience is the patience of training and not fearing the profound meaning.
다 다 가르쳐고 다 가서 놀드는 가서 서로 공략성인데 애니 다 아니 좀 나은게 애니 견데라 나은게 딱 저도 계시고 잘.
So in summary, in really brief points, the main thing about patience, primary training of patience, is looking at one's own faults, focusing on one's own faults.
나한테는 냠내 정에서 출발 대상인데서 같이 들어봐. 가와나 소나야. 뭐 서다야 맞은다. 사자 가와나 소나 뭐라 탄대죠.
줘보세요.
나서 출발 같이 들어봐. 미세가다 또 그냥 가서 아메리카는 들은 모두 가와나 소나 뭐라 탄다고. 미스 가와나 소나. 이내는 코랑기다. 이 코랑기 전산에 통과해. 하나 딱 가와라지는 민간가다. 소프에 미세도 두개 아래도 끼었는데도 뒤집고 통으로.
These days, us people call themselves Buddhist practitioners. Especially in America, I see this all the time. Rinpoche says these people calling themselves practitioners, but they absolutely can't be in accord with anybody. Not just people, but places. Wherever they go, all they see is the problems of the place. Oh, this isn't going to work. All they see are the faults and problems of other individuals. They can't be in harmony with any person, any place. Everything is a problem. And this, they're expert in seeing the faults and problems. It's all they focus on of others and the places around them, never looking at their own faults.
되네. 엄마가 알았지 아니. 제가 아니. 뭐지? 그것도 정석이었다. 정말지. 정석이야. 대단한 뭐지였어요. 뭐지. 다 정말 정말 뭐랑 뭐 찍어야서 말이야. 용조. 용조들 뭐랑 그 다시 틀려서 말이야. 되네. 맞아요. 되네. 그러나 좀 가르쳐야 되네. 되네. 가르쳐야 되네. 그걸 라마지한테 뭐라고 라비셨어. 뒤통과 말이 라마지 그랬더니 라마지 그랬더니 지금 뭐라고 라브래. 뒤통과 그나나 통과 여체 두께래. 정말 두께래. 이 약간 찌야요 말했다. 용서 두께래서. 근데 가르쳤어. 가르쳐나 거의 용서 때문에 코를 뺏기는 되지 않았다. 뭐라는 용서 그때는 뭐 빼. 또 못하고 그랬어. 진짜 코서 참아 두게 안 했어요. 다 뭐라는 게 야구 치고도 뭐라 남을 봐. 다 옛날 용서도 가르쳐 김사에 가르쳐 민사는 나는 뭐가 따고 그랬어요. 이런데 뭐라는 게 끼어내도 왜 도움이 나. 강의에서는 코서 참아 두게 안 했어.
There's a story, an old Tibetan story. We're in a little village out in Tibet somewhere. There's an old woman who didn't get along with anybody. Not a single person. The whole village, she couldn't get along with anyone. So nobody liked her. And then one day there's a lama around and she meets with the lama and she says, Lama, absolutely every single person in this town is terrible. There's not one decent person in this whole town. Because from her perspective, of course, she's the one good person in the town. Where everybody else treats me bad. They're so awful. They don't like her because of her faults, really, is what it comes down to. But she was completely incapable of looking at her own side of it.
자, 다 돼가지고 다 제상 다 빼는 뭐라고 산다 뭐는 찍고 마도 다 야부 찍고 매바서 거든 은혜 지나 민서 은혜 지나 다 은혜 창을 그렇지 막 가려야 나 삼사대 그 삼사는 거기요 말해.
Yeah, she really thought, I'm the only good one here. She never had this inkling to think, wow, every single person doesn't like me and treats me this way. What did I do? What's my part in that? Never had that moment of self-reflection.
그래서 다 말한 쪽에 다 쪼들 때도 봐. 다 말한 쪽에 너나 해봤지. 어떤게 얘네 신앙도 보민도 네 나쪽에 에 간사 했더니 너바래도 봐봐. 제때라 배가면도 얘네 치마라 배가면도 낭매라 배가면도 니라 배가면도 근데 이게 때문에 되게 삼제들이 되게 때문에 내가 난 되게 왕도 배서 말로 가지 보고도 삼제네 너는 때 시가 좀 생각나 네 다뭐 대시죠 가르쳐 다 해마대 해바지 땅지 전에 다 깨는 가서 노을지를 용을 해 배는 미치 캠사지 시 콜랍상 나오고 너는 해봐도 여기 인생을 때니 뒤에 값을 때니 제 용을 해 이나야 채모로고 말을 가르쳐 다 뒤는 지금 요래 왔듯이 내가 내 들은 지금 담자지 제 처임 봐 쌈이 때니 코트를 때니 코트니 양코 실로 그래 뒤 값을 때니 맞아 다 빼는 양재 제바디 수생이 그래 음악이 해봐도 양재 제바디 수생이 그래.
So again, the first primary thing that we need with patience is setting the initial intention, or literally the propelling mindset, where our intention then propels our mindset through the day. So we begin by reminding ourselves of the faults of anger. Anger is bad. It brings nothing but harm. It harms me in this life, it harms me in the next life. It brings no benefit to this life or the next life. It doesn't benefit me, my family, or anyone at all whatsoever. If only I cannot fall sway to the power of anger. So we set this strong intention in our mind. May I not fall sway to anger. May I not get angry. And then we go about our business, and of course there are going to be some temporary circumstances that arise that piss us off. Somebody literally does something weird, you know, and just acting weird or something, and we'll have that moment of getting a little hostile. So it's going to happen. So then the goal is to have it not become so strong, so overwhelming. We have that moment, and then based on the strength of our setting our pledge, making that commitment, the intention of the commitment to not fall sway to anger, then we can remember that. Namely, through the power of our mindfulness, then we recall our pledge. And in the moment of doing that, the anger, the power of anger dissipates. It can totally disappear.
네, 다 음악 가담 발로 좀 경에도 레지스트를 다 코페 제스 콜로 교지 데라한테 코페 전시체는 또 들어가고 깔보다 나고 뭐지냐 다도 스킨은 다치 남도 또 캬라고 그렇게 태우고 다 배고도 한다고 그렇게 나고 지야 양지 잠반 인전도 때 이제서 나깔고 지야 더 스케치는 되게 당고 나고 맞죠? 가고 지어라. 얘네 도스키 가래 되지. 근데 발산이 가보다 나고 이렇게 체가. 얘네 제말은 얘네 가고 맞도 되네. 나고 사람들이 되게 됐어. 우선 좀.
Words My Perfect Teacher talks about the tradition of the Padampa masters who would collect their white and black pebbles while training in Lojong and mind training. And for every negative thought, every moment of anger, they would count that moment, count the negative thought with a black pebble. And every positive thought, a moment of love, compassion, and so forth, they'd count with white. What they find is that when you start out doing that, you have nothing but black. And then slowly they progress and they become equal, half and half. And then eventually you arrive at the state where you have nothing but your white pebbles.
양 쇼가리 더 해서 양 공자들이 양들은 좀 넘치자. 드랭에 간에서 좋은 거야. 네. 드랭 양들은 집에서 컨트롤세 와집지 되는 드랭에 양집 집 멀어졌어. 이내야 내가 중화들이 뭐지 아서. 내가 시작하지. 뭐들이 이제 양은 드랭에 control 집 원도 마상품에 개와 직사 그래서 개와 직사셔서 야와 내가 가고 개와 뭐야 그래 저희도 왜 코거든요 코드라 코거든요 히스토리도 그래 퀄리티 아니 제토스 도스 제네 근데 코셈바데 야죠 교환의 용도로 그냥 말하는 좀 삼바도 상도 샴바니 코 컨트롤 용도로는 샴바니기 마음을 들어한테 땡땡해요. 그래서 근데 나도 가르쳐 그런다 추생인데 들도와 셈바 장보이 장도 추생인데 아주 교약도 다르도와 말하는 좀 영웅 같아서 독야돼서 갈래 반영주다 근데 삼바 장도 땅 어다 때문에 출생이 그다지 규비도 가져와요 아주 그런냐 봐 삼바냐 봐 규어방냐 봐서든지 규시 그런 데야 그런 데야 장도 땅 근데 다도 스케치는 되게 쟁가라는 소리야 에네 삼바 장도 근데 삼바 장소는 저바대한 상들로 근데 저한 탐지 가래 되네 저한 탐지 세 이런데 탐지 되는 게 산제세가 맞아 당원에 되네 저 근세 연대 근데 생각이 수치가 요마로
So that's how we set up our mornings. In the morning, we set that intention. And then in the evenings, we check in. How'd the day go? Oh, I got in some fights today. I had some conflicts today. I got pretty angry. So then we recognize that and say, so I made mistakes. Those are my faults. And that's okay. It's over now. And I commit to not letting that happen again. So performing a confession or an apology in that way. Or maybe we check in the evening and we think through our day and today went quite well. I didn't get angry today. I engaged in some virtue today. I amassed some virtue, and then we dedicate whatever virtue or positive actions we engaged in to give rise to a sense of joy towards our having done well that day. Thinking too that the enemy of anger and the afflictive emotion didn't win today. I won today. I didn't fall sway. I wasn't beaten up by the enemy today. So we can be vigilant in this way, setting our intentions, checking in with how things are going. And then in this way, progressively, our mind becomes better and better, or our heart becomes kinder and kinder. And the faults and flaws of our mind progressively diminish. our anger progressively diminishes. And as anger dissipates within our mind, then automatically love and compassion will become more and more predominant. That's just naturally how it happens. And through this, practicing like this, then our mind becomes more and more excellent. So what we call the Dharma, Dharma really means like transformation. When we say Dharma, we mean to transform, to alter, to improve our mind. So this transformation really means the transformation of working to decrease the afflictive emotions, the experience of the afflictive emotions, and to work to recognize and be free of negative mind states, such as anger. So again, Dharma is transforming. It's transforming the state of our mind, transforming our motivation, our intention for engaging in everything. And as our motivation and intention grows vaster and better, more and more excellent and kinder, then automatically our conduct and our behavior reflects that more and more. As our intentions and our mindscape becomes better, then our behavior becomes better. And that this is a progressive, gradual process that culminates in arriving at the state of Buddhahood. Buddhahood literally is nothing other than all mental faults being gone and all qualities being fully manifest. There's no other definition than that. And that state doesn't, there's no individual that arrives at that state of being completely faultless and endowed with all enlightened qualities automatically, all at once from the beginning of setting out on their path. It's a process, a gradual process. And again, reapplying our effort towards such practice as that is the practice of diligence, the application of diligence. The next paramita. So what is diligence? Diligence means taking delight in virtue. That's the definition of diligence, taking delight or having joy in virtue. So diligence counteracts laziness, procrastination, whatever keeps us from engaging in virtue, and is needed in order to accomplish and practice all of the 6 paramitas. Diligence, what we call diligence, can be had by really anybody. It's kind of an ordinary type of diligence. Fishermen are really diligent, getting up extremely early in the morning, spending all day, not returning till late in the evening, doing nothing but diligently trying to kill fish. Whatever happens, it can be freezing out there. All sorts of difficulties arise while they're fishing, and they spend all day there waiting to kill their fish. So that's not the diligence we're talking about. Diligence here, again, the definition of it is taking delight in virtue, finding joy in virtue. That's the diligence we're after. This ordinary or worldly diligence doesn't, that type of diligent effort doesn't bring about any real benefit. It doesn't help anything. In fact, it only brings harm.
나한테 얘기했는데 배는 되니? 나 나한테 때는 고치하게 쪄주었어. 나 담보니 찍고 와서요. 저렇게 찍고 와서 이번에는 늘라 센지직 감자고요. 근데 저래 쪄주었어. 맞아 깡가.
고작이 쫀주 담보 담체.
배는 고치하세요. 배는 제 거라서 철을 찍 매기 집 잡으면 배는 거라서 쫙 두고 어디서 보여는데 그래서 다 들어고 있는 그 부금이가 된다고 원에 되는 거라서 3m 라 감자기 찍고 근데 아주 요리 쩐주였어 근데 요리 쩐주세도 값어 근데 다 무슨 찍어서 얘네 레로당 미모당 근데 대나게 다 가서 남도라서 봐 근데 용도 값어 대줄 때는 데를 맞다 그래서 얘네 대수고 왕도 만들어 근데 맞으면 배 우리야 용도 해야지 냐면 쩐주지 저래 쩐주 다도 그 쩐주 되는 말아서 맞아 그래서 얘네다 장주 비슷해 얘네 배심지 봐인자 맞아 다도 그에나다 심지에 담기 사지 고마도 봐 네, 근데 지금 지하고 싸마 지금 때는 드레스 제는 지금 안 좋대. 도시야지. 다들 들어가 좀 전주 보니까 네, 대상기 인터넷 들어가 가마 카이지 동태가 되는 시간 좋아. 야다 들어가. 얘기다 빠지서 차지였어.
So diligence, we have three types of diligence. The armor-like diligence. So armor-like diligence is the diligence of setting an intention, setting up our mental state. And so it's the commitment. I will be diligent. I will put effort into this. Will apply myself in this virtuous activity. So by having that, setting your intention, then it becomes like armor against whatever conditions arise. So armor like diligence, armor like wearing, your iron armor. Somebody shoots an arrow at you, it doesn't harm you. You have your armor on. So in the same way, by having the strong commitment of committing to applying effort, to being diligent, then it will act as armor against the conditions that can arise up to steal away your diligent effort. Next, we have the diligence of joining diligence, or joining one's diligence to the activity itself, where one's engaging in an activity, then having the strength of heart to not fall sway to laziness, tiredness, thoughts, distractions, conceptual proliferations, and so forth. And then ultimate diligence. Ultimate diligence is based on having given rise to bodhicitta. The diligence of maintaining one's commitment to engage in virtue until all sentient beings have gained complete enlightenment. That is ultimate diligence. I will not stop until enlightenment's attained on behalf of and for all sentient beings. So that's a brief synopsis of the three types of diligence we're to engage in. So we had a bit of time left, so I thought I'd teach a little bit on diligence too. So today we've covered both patience and some on diligence. So we have a few minutes left, so if there are any questions.
Could we first out your wind?
Let me mention.
Let me know. One game not to Lungro Sauna degree. Lungro Sauna.
Tradition because
We did Tanta telling not a Lungro myself something like Tanta.
that's come up and then colors.
So I said Cynthia's question, can we expel the still winds? And Rinpoche said, yeah, sure, anytime you want, expel the still wind. And I said, maybe right now, should we? Because we didn't before. And he goes, oh no, where's the end now? Probably no need now.
restrictively deeply lama
So Lama has requested the transmission for Guru Yoga practice, Guru Yoga that Rinpoche composed. Has asked for the transmission and guidance on this, and Rinpoche will offer the transmission of it.
나서 라민남 조신을 취준 요소 도주군의 라만의 주박군진 초송철 라미 tinkhor malba yarme jobna shilam jo dela tomer jusam lami tuge ta kadin warje chembe mewe ta denami shi jigi rangyin de shi binge shi chebar jen jela jobsan rowa ta semje ban angora gi tugi zer kusum lamar jobsa che rangzer dabsom 철빈 로 랑어를 줘봐 semje do sa kyamjo sim yani 이제 남미 축구 여기서 탐 영리 리필 ran당니 자zer 자고 세타 축비로 다시 빼니 대제 땡 랑이 도제 심바까르 도저 니마 용다지 상공 어지랑지 곤스다지 잡지 저거를 정신 라마는 열군도 빙고 남바 어제 도제 창 빙도 도저를 용축서 나도 추다 달서에 니선 이게 존들이 엄주어서 도천당 유som 인생 라미 초 젠장 앞에 고택 고택인데 어디다 젠장 고택 어서제 남바 열매 로직 조르서 다 데리 소왔다 봤네 다 시왔다 봤는지 단종에 구성되는 디스 챔버 소파 소왔다 봤네 자송 근데 라미 거 항통거라 소완다 듀지 리치 챙조데 도지 거를 신경로 암본차 죽기 라미 송 장공 송나 소완데 납주 현바 랑다니 조별 송도 신경로 홍가다 상태 라미 톡 rekton tokla soba de choto zongzeng rangzhoni chuze chenpo hingyalo xiyedang sa dati jeda dati nisay ka zhona ene da yang desi kaso jubi lama kate jubi lama so checha zhawo zhona so ene da kumzang dosam garab xirasang penyong boma kunchen yapsedi zabi lami parda xinglapi ning jubi lama la soban del state to ngeji ba jembang ni la sosor yakton ta no chen sangi soba mewani zabi lami parda xinglapi duka jubi lama la soban del state to karasa kamachi ene 조건 남성 링바 첨부기 자손의 좀 패턴 계좌다 동나 링바 빼질 부분부터 서튼 기비 라마라 소완다 스타트 에니 세미기 주다 ene 다 강대 ene 대탐지 다양한 기획처를 주제니 점니 부분 오리엔 도제자 야미 중견자 라마라 소완다 소라리 라미 톡 다다 닝든 제발 신경로 스타 근데 재미가 기근에 ene 다 onda jisom lama tamchiliata soba tabati tabti da tama lami tota sen ene da yarmi sen lama cheno shida tati pes juna da duba cheno tinta tanga to kitang tata ti ene cheno tanga to inde sonda that the no but someone do you usando some corruption sem yung ma jebong show so ya te dam ya so ka te lama nam so wa tu ti kan je ka sing you know lama chen so dang na lang chi ba re de ne so da so synergy so chemo yin zang so lang ya 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 tu san ne lama chen so jun dang se ne ba de ji dang da la mi chen ga do ko ji jue yo la de ne ya ta ni mo pun je ta ben zang go de ne 네, 다 다른 거랑 저 아니 다 주대 다때 탐지 싸워들 맞고 내가 손도 된다는 거 대답을 지도는 소 지나다고 채워서는데 배는 거 나한테 들어가는 게 아니라는 배는 걸 뒤에 쏠았다 때 라마 줘라스 소라타 빌라마 제소 여러다 라미 통다라서 예메도 세라 까라고는 냠버리샤라 그바 짱 다시 그냥 그리니까 라미 통다라서 예메도 세라 스페리랑 베스바 냠바야 난다 고비 주는 그 라미 찍고 손도 줘서다 아니 다 나마 뭐 스타바서 대도 특색다 라미 찍고 손도 줘서 매는 물론 트로핀도 양을 이길 세조네 최적으로 상기대 연인들도 다시 쇼스가 담아대 되는 땅하는 수에는 가져 아니 뭐는 정도도 매진도 당 물론 따로 트로핀 보완나 아니 초바 물론도 파다 랑레기 지라야 닉 세제 아니 다 닉 세네 따라서 물론 세나 아니 다 말은 저거 배 아니 출발상관나 이거는 저거 뭐시 되는 그 최적으로 상기제니 아니 다 생전 담제 아니 다 배는 이제 돈이 늘어 가기 쉬워서 다 돼야 많은 거지 다 담아대 많은 거 되게 우리가 다 오지 다 간다 라운드 최적으로 드롭 제제니 다 연도도 아니 저거다 조금 나서 그랬더니 제 고네 아니 돈이 아니 무슨 소바 근데 제가 좀 마비긴도 현재 쪽으로 쇼지 시에가 있고 다른 운동시에가 대원 3대는 같이가 랑게냐면은 편서 제제 라민 남들이 들어오시 내가 어wen 노조다 지도 다 고르지 얼마 중간 누가 나도 조체 같이가 전국 năng yang lang rebi tar을 사. 아니 직다 된다 우리 그거도 전든 자이서 봐. 아니 나랑 자유 흥디 치선 오버드 중에 센다 랑니스 조선 지소 라서나.
네. 그래서 그룹데 순디 몸배서 그룹 때문에 한딩마 대중을 좀 장한 좀 뒤로 함시 그래 상관만
그래서 소스가 된다고 이제 다 가리는 건데 그래 되게
So
yeah, that interest.
So Guru Yoga practice starts out with refuge and bodhicitta, and the main practice begins with our self-visualization as ourself as Vajrasattva, and the visualization of the Guru, the quintessence of the gathering of all Buddhas appearing in the form of Ordigan Dorje Chang, with a consort appearing in the midst of enlightened forms and tigles, spheres of rainbow light. And following this, the visualizations, we have supplication prayers. First of which, the main one is praying, supplicating to, and praising the enlightened body, speech, mind qualities and activity of the Guru. Then followed by lineage prayers to the root and lineage masters, beginning with the Ningtek lineage prayer, Tulku Sang-ngag Rinpoche, and then following that, it says, if if you would like to elaborate, you can pray, you can make, recite these extensive root and lineage prayers, which are supplications to the lineage masters of the Kama, the Ningtek, the Terma tradition, and to the gurus of the 3 lineages. So we're calling out to them, praying to all of them. But all of those masters too fit within the first single stanza Ningtek prayer. So we can just say that single verse too, which Rinpoche did not compose that one, but wanted to include that because it's universal Nyingma, great powerful prayer that's endowed with enlightened blessings. So just to recite that invokes blessings for us. And then following this, we pray to that may our ordinary mind blend inseparably with the wisdom mind of the gurus. And call out to them with Lama Kin, Lama Guru, think of me. And then we recite a mantra in the form of a supplication. So here Rinpoche has included the Benza Guru mantra. So often, usually with mantras, you'll have the name of the guru. The deity is inserted within the mantra there. But here Rinpoche felt having the Benza Guru mantra was good. Benza Guru mantra carries with it the blessings of all enlightened beings. Carries with it the blessings of the accomplishment class and the Tantra class of the accomplishment lineages are all contained within the blessing power of the Benza Guru mantra. And then following some recitation of the mantra, you can you rest in a state of equipoise, blending your mind inseparably with the wisdom mind of the Guru. Then arising out of that state, you have the re-emergence into experiencing all appearance, sound, and thought as the enlightened body, speech, and mind of the Guru. And then we have aspiration prayers, which the aspiration prayer included here is also a prayer for auspiciousness, to bring about auspiciousness, where you're praying, setting the aspiration that may the twofold purpose be perfectly perfected, my own purpose and the purpose of all sentient beings. So namely, you're praying, making the aspiration that there be the auspiciousness that of attaining enlightenment myself, and may all sentient beings attain enlightenment. May my own purpose be fulfilled by attaining Buddhahood in the Dharmakaya, attaining the state of Dharmakaya. May the purposes of other sentient beings be fulfilled by from the state of the enlightenment of Dharmakaya, may I emanate out the form kayas for the sake of sentient beings. And then there's the colophon at the end. It says, some time ago while teaching at Awam Samten Ling, Michael Irwin, along with other students, offered silk katas along with other offerings and made the following request. For the sake of our spiritual practice, we beseech you, Rinpoche, to compose a Guru Yoga text related to yourself. Then Rinpoche said at the time he set it aside, fell sway to distraction, thinking it wasn't so important to do. Wouldn't be of great benefit, but then later eventually my remaining in a state of distraction ended, and I composed this text when the inspiration to write suddenly arose. It was completed on the 3rd day of the ripening month of an iron hair year, November 27, 2011, in my home in Santa Fe. And then Lamala asked if he could include or insert Rinpoche's name in his Guru mantra, which Rinpoche said, if you like, that would be okay.
Oh yeah. Ini dah dari deh ini yang ni kap ni datang masuk di lokal yang tenang jaya ni. Tanya chamje dia yang chamlo yang tu soal lepsons. 응, 다양 잠들 거 잡히니까. 아, 당연한 소리야. 하루로 좀 추스요네요. 다 간세도 봐야. 이네 그거 왔다 빨리 하는 근데 니가 저기 무슨 말했던 거 봐.
Chief structure.
발 나와 찍래. 나와 찍다가 나와 찍다가 말해.
Chief.
나와 찍는 인들이.
Super to Lojong to 3 years.
아니, 되네 양이 하나 되네 뭐 설렘는 지 망고랑 지요 말다.
Chief check.
네.
이 양포에 대한 예시 나는.
그거는 양보지 신나는 거야. 이 발에 연한테는 다 되게 아니 양. 그래서 대신 연한테 이 같은 막 삼대당 시름이 맞습니다. 근데 찍기는 와서 처를 내면 내가 잡아서 위해서. 너무 멀리 가는 야구입니다. 찍기는 뭐 되는 거 잡아서 야.
That concludes our Lojong teachings for now. Time has come again for me to wander about, Rinpoche says, to go on my wanderings around the planet. I'm headed to Taiwan and Hong Kong. We've gone for a month, sounds like about a month exactly. And then when he returns, we can find the time, then he'll try to conclude the Lojong teachings, which is really just going through the final 2 of the 6 paramitas, meditative concentration and transcendent wisdom. So maybe we can set the goal to conclude that before the new year. Rinpoche is coming back for about a month and a half as Yangpo Drupcha and Yeshe Lama. Besides that, maybe we can make some time, Rinpoche is saying, and conclude our Lojong teachings. If we extend it over, many years, that's not so good. So maybe we can try to get that done.
발전하는 맞았다. 삼대의 시럽성은 지나고 다시 고시리나 동안 동안까지 지나는 거다. 제가 과제 많죠. 시야하고 시간 스트레스.
So in general, the last 2, meditative concentration and transcendent wisdom, relate to the practices of calm abiding and vipassana, direct insight, Shinye and Laktong, which I think all of you are probably quite well familiar with already.
자랑들이 지나는 가르사. 서바디 가슈이스. 이렇게 가르사.
Rinpoche again?
자, 이 근데 나랑 가서 지라칭에 도시의 공부의 성장, 저는 이게 가서 무슨 년보다 저바의 성장은 대야 가슈이스.
Kongso like 2 of yours.
Yeah.
Rinpoche's favorite is patience. Patience, the antidote to the enemy of the anger, because conquers the enemy of anger. Patience, the paramita of patience, has worked for him. So patience is Rinpoche's favorite.
Yeah, try.
Why don't you let 2 of you?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I got a text message that there are some questions on here.
Oh.
It looks different.
Yeah, it went away during webinar.
Picture is still in here.
Oh, is it here?
Oh, there we are.
Okay,
Yeah, I don't know.
sorry.
Where are the questions?
Okay. I think there.
Hey Marlene, can you see the questions?
There. Okay. There are no polls. Question is on.
Okay.
Marlene, you have to
I
expand.
cannot hear the audio.
The
That's
full
the
thing.
question.
And then they call it the
Yeah.
Lama Sutra.
Hey, Lou.
There's a question.
What advice do you have to help when practicing a wrathful deity to avoid being angry?
And then you can put it here.
Do that one.
Okay.
What advice do you have?
It's okay, Sue.
Oh. 라마가 미선들 소리도 왔거든. 그래서 그것도 많이 쇼스를 하고 한때 스페이스 쇼 그다음에 집 people 무슨 무슨 그다음에 민망 오름도 좀 그렇게 하여튼 막 민족이랑 식 같은 수도 내 정서체를 고소해야다 기관한테 손을 들마 그다음에 미신다 무슨 소리야
这气包的，就是真的。这个气的拉抽，拉抽，我们就是比较的那血糖控制马开亚的它是可以的。
拉车步，
就是做了这个课。
都这做了，
这个就是做了咱们的那个，拉抽，
拉抽的时候，你或许你血糖给你不得多，血糖个错就血糖就不是这把了是，对吗？这说到啊，你这种事啊，对了，你抽的时候，但你给哪个上班去呢？你这情绪的苦受的这个都，对吧？ 네, 배자다 당가란다 특별히 뭐 생계한 많이 쓰라고요래. 얘네 참매가 나도 레상해서 다 걔나 탑시 가면 더다고 이게 다 말지 상태는 로그레 코란가 레레 다 제요 말에 엄마네 배매호 대장 다 노르제 특별히 은혜게 다 대서 담게다 그저 안에 다 얘기 조금 짠이 매주 창조해서 담기 다 탑진 돌마토 받아 쇼진 돌마 근데 다 텔레지서나 다 오늘 가서 이니 다 가르쳐 봐 배나다 참에 알을 수박다 배지서 냉에 서 담기 네 제비 냉에 균 제제는 다 할바당 때문에 상처를 당해 탑지 여가서 땡이 와서도 근데 너희 그 체주 통 많이 빠지 아니 완전히 제거였어 남바데 소고래 모두 인계네 인계 너니 얘다 탐지가 라마서 욕해줬대 답변 밑 두히다 고치고다 집회도 말해서 참이 봐 욕살이다 나고 다 뒤에 때는 아주 좋은 거요. 다 뒤에 거 팬다고 다 뒤에 나가 가요 그랬어. 지금 다 먹고 좀 피가 되고 좀.
So the question was, if when you're engaging in a wrathful deity practice, how do you not get angry, counteract anger from arising when you're doing a wrathful yidam? So really, wrathful deities, first and foremost, it's a training, working with wrathful deities, it's an antidote to anger. It said, through something that appears as, or like through the means of what appears as anger, you're conquering anger. And Rinpoche says that really he considers the wrathful deities and wrathful practices to have the strongest, the greatest compassion. So in the Mahayana, again, we're training to perceive all sentient beings as being our kind mothers, our parents. So for beings that have engaged in the 5 acts of immediate retribution and so forth, you know, the worst of the worst characters, where other systems, or the lower systems of Mahayana, it's, oh, well, they did that, there's nothing left for them, Ningje, you know, what a pity, they're going straight to hell without any bardo state. There's nothing left for them but to say, money coming home, goodbye. And that's not, you know, very compassionate, really. But the Vajrayana, we have means to deal with such characters, the absolute worst of the worst. And these are the wrathful means, wrathful deities, where for beings that cannot be tamed, cannot be transformed, affected by the ordinary skillful means, we have forceful methods to bring about liberation and transformation. Those beings that are not responsive at all, those characteristics that are not responsive at all to other kinder, gentler methods are forced to transform and forced into liberation and Buddhahood. Those actors that engage in the 5 heinous acts and other such negative actions in karma. So I really consider this a unique quality to the Vajrayana to have such methods. And the main thing to remember engaging in wrathful deities and wrathful methods is that the appearance is wrathful, ferocious, but the essence is compassion. And not just an ordinary compassion, but the highest degree of compassion, the greatest compassion. That is the type of compassion that where everybody else has concluded they're incorrigible, there's nothing left for that one. I'm still the one with compassion, and the means that need to be applied are going to be forceful, wrathful. So that's how we can understand the wrathful practices and wrathful deities as really the highest manifestation of enlightened compassion. I was once in retreat in Taktang in Bhutan for 2 months. I was in a 2-month-long Vajrakalaya retreat in the eastern Taktang, tiger's lair, tiger's nest, Bhutan sacred site and holy caves. And there's 2 there, and I was in the eastern Taktang, which was above an extremely steep cliff. And there was a massive Dorje statue in there. I was doing the practice of Purva Vajrakalaya, but I was gazing at the face of Dorje all the time. Every day, all the time. One point I really had the strong sense of tremendous blessings from this statue from Dorje Jolo. From gazing in his face, I really saw and experienced, like directly experienced, the tremendous or immeasurable compassion of the enlightened mind of Dorje Jolo. I saw this in his face and experienced that. Where Dorje Jolo, especially Dorje Jolo, looks extremely ferocious, like wildly wrathful and ferocious. But by looking at this, I really saw directly the tremendous compassion, the immeasurable compassion of Dorje Jolo manifest in this way. And it was quite a profound experience itself. From then on, Rinpoche says he really particularly loved wrathful deities and could connect to the tremendous compassion embodied by wrathful deities. Like astounding, wondrous compassion that he felt. That is Dorje Jolo. And in part, yes, this is probably certainly due to the place that I was in, the extremely holy site of Tatsang, and also the statue itself and the structures there are extremely old and blessed, filled with blessing. Yes, so that's one personal story about my own experience, Rinpoche says, with wrathful deities and Dorje Jolo. Now he kind of has this sense of, wow, Dorje Jolo's compassion is incredible. It's even greater than Chinrezi. Avalokiteshvara, that's kind of the sense that he has now. There's no greater compassion than that. When I was in there, I didn't have a single moment of anger coming up in that way. Logically, when I was there, maybe some people, they practice and they get angry. It brings out anger. I don't know. Maybe.
That's all. So
before we conclude, Tashida, my auspicious wishes to all of you that joined us through the magic of the interwebs. Thank you. I'm grateful that you joined us. Thank you. So now we can all offer dedication and aspiration prayers together. That's page 12 and Cascade Blessing.
Lama Kunga Sama Suva, Chodu Kuzerimwa Suva, Nile Dashin Gewa Suva, Lama Dandewa Mepa Chinji, Gewa Kundu Yanda Lama, Rene Juye Pela Lomje, Sada Lomge Yunde Rapso, Ale Lame Gomba
at this very moment, for the people and nations of this earth, may not even the names, disease, famine, war, be heard, but rather make your conduct, merit, wealth, and prosperity increase,
May supreme good fortune and well-being always ours. Tama chukuru kuda yeshe rupa jamne sansan denjo chempe nyamle yemen tuki tenle roshke shu.